Level 1. You wake up, you check your phone, a number scrolls on the screen. It tells a part of your life story, not all of it, but enough to set the day in motion. This number is not a law of nature. It's a shared agreement. Once you traded grain for tools. Then, shells became tokens of trust. Later, coins, stamped with faces, did the same. Every change was an experiment in coordination. Every change required you to believe with others. Imagine for a moment that money started as an experiment to make cooperation easier. No magic, no fixed meaning, just a story people agreed to tell. You inherited that story. You retell it every time you exchange value. The experiment was simple. If enough people agree to a symbol, then you can use it to save, to promise, to demand. It lets strangers trade without sharing a past. It scales trust. It speeds complexity. And like any experiment, it needs rules, tests, and observers. You are both the tester and the test subject. You participate before you notice. You believe before you question. Level 2. You live inside a shared fiction. Value exists because you and others say it does. A green note, a string of digits, a digital balance, all rely on collective belief. That belief is powerful and malleable. A story can make a pebble priceless. A rumor can make a diamond worthless. Every market is a theater. Actors include you, your neighbor, regulators, and advertisers. Narratives shape incentives. Scarcity becomes meaningful because you accept it. Trust becomes currency when institutions back promises. You trust a bank when it keeps records honest. You trust a brand when it keeps a reputation. All of it is social calibration. You adjust your actions based on shared expectations. That calibration is the experiment's engine. Sometimes the story evolves slowly. Sometimes it explodes overnight. Think of the early adopters who traded digital tokens for ideas. They didn't act on certainty. They acted on belief about belief. Their behavior rewrote the experiment's trajectory. You can watch the same thing happen at small scale. A local farmer's market becomes a microeconomy. A community barter day becomes a test of trust. Each trial asks, what counts as money here? Who enforces the rules? Who benefits? And who doesn't? Level 3. Rules matter. Every experiment needs constraints. Ledgers, laws, and rituals form the frame. You don't see all of them, but they're there. Central banks, clearinghouses, legal codes, digital platforms, passwords, and privacy settings. They translate social belief into enforceable outcomes. They decide who can create money, who can borrow, who pays interest. They determine penalties for breaking the agreement. These mechanisms shape incentives. They accelerate certain behaviors and choke others. A rule that favors lenders over renters will change neighborhoods. A system that rewards accumulation magnifies inequality. Rules are not neutral. They encode values. And the people designing the rules bring their own incentives. Sometimes the rules are deliberate. Sometimes they're accidental. A tax code written in one era becomes a lever for concentrated power in another. A small glitch in a trading algorithm can ripple into a panic. You live inside that architecture. You feel its effects as stability or stress, knowing the architecture doesn't fix it. But it lets you see that the experiment has variables you can change. Level 4. You are a behavioral variable. Money rewires how you notice and choose. It makes time fungible. It assigns numbers to emotion. You measure success in accounts and posts. You optimize for signals, sales, savings, likes. They all nudge your attention. Scarcity is a script that shapes your appetite. Perceived scarcity speeds decisions. Perceived abundance can breed carelessness. Advertising is persuasion turned into system design. It engineers desirability. Your desires become inputs into an economic feedback loop. You chase expectations that the system projects. Sometimes you act rationally. Sometimes you act out of story-driven instinct. And that's okay. Experiments often rely on heuristics, but heuristics can be exploited. Design choices in the system reward short-term thinking. They deprioritize collective, long-term welfare. You wonder why people behave the way they do. It's not only character, it's context. The experiment frames your choices. It nudges you towards certain habits. Recognizing that gives you agency. You can reframe, you can slow down, you can choose different metrics for a good life. Level 5. Not every experiment goes well. Some iterations produce side effects. Inflation erodes savings. Speculation distorts production. Inequality concentrates power. Markets can amplify shocks into crises. Those outcomes are not fate. They're emergent properties. Systems that reward rent-seeking invite rent-taking. When the rules no longer reflect shared values, the experiment fractures. Trust phrase. People withdraw from markets. They build safe havens. They hoard. They protest. They innovate. History is full of moments where the social story broke and new currencies emerged in the cracks, from cigarettes in prisons to energy credits in blockaded towns. When formal money fails, communities improvise. Those improvisations reveal what money really does. It coordinates cooperation. So when coordination fails, you get chaos. And when coordination improves, you get flourishing. Level 6. What if you could redesign the experiment? Small changes matter. Adjust a rule, and behavior shifts. Create a payment method that rewards stewardship, and you reward caretakers. Shift taxes to privilege circular flows, and you discourage hoarding. Alternate currencies already exist. Local currencies keep wealth circulating in towns. Time banks value labor equally. Universal basic income experiments test stability and scarcity. Cryptographic ledgers test trustless coordination. Commons governance experiments bind resources to communities. Each model shifts the experiment's variables. None are perfect. Each trade-off reveals new incentives. Design is an act of moral imagination. You can't escape values. You must choose which ones to bake into the experiment. Level 7. Your choice matters. You're not powerless. Every payment is a vote. Every contract is a story you continue. You can opt for convenience or conscience. You can support local businesses or mega platforms. You can demand transparency. You can vote for rules that reflect long-term flourishing. You can convene neighbors. You can prototype new systems. Teach a kid to save. Share a skill. Back a cooperative. Speak when a rule becomes unfair. The experiment depends on participation. If you change your behavior, the signals change. Others observe, they adjust. Collective imagination rewrites outcomes. This is how experiments evolve. This is how new money systems emerge. So what if money is a social experiment? Then you are in the lab. Your daily choices are data. Your stories shape the hypothesis. If you want different results, change the inputs. Design with empathy. Prioritize resilience. Center care over speed. Small acts accumulate. Over time, they can alter the narrative. You are more than a balance. You are a participant. You are a designer. And every morning when you check that number, you can ask, what story am I reinforcing today? Who benefits from it? What could I change? The experiment continues. Decide how you'll take part.